Huber will hold it. 52-yarder. Sweeps the leg. McPherson. He's got it. Cincinnati wins. They are going to the AFC Championship game for the first time since 1988.
Hooday, and what's going on, Bengals fans? The Cincinnati Bengals have beaten the Tennessee Titans. We are playing the Kansas City Chiefs for the AFC Championship and a trip to the Super Bowl. Let's go. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Eric Sztanyo from Keller Williams Realty and TeamStanyo.com, where we are helping you find your home and strengthen your family. We've got the #1 real estate YouTube channel in all of Cincinnati, but I also love talking about Bengals talk. And I promise you that you are not going to find this take about the Cincinnati Bengals and the city of Cincinnati anywhere else, so stay tuned. So the Cincinnati Bengals have beat the Tennessee Titans. What a game. A lot of you guys maybe saw this channel for the first time because my wife happened to post, or my wife took video of my friends and I who were watching the game celebrating. Long story, fun story, but I didn't get to see the Raiders game live, and so I actually missed that. I had to watch that. I was flying and I had to watch it later, and so I didn't get that release of all the relief of 31 years, but the Titans game was awesome. We posted that video, so maybe you guys saw that. I hope you guys had similar reactions. So I'm filming this on Monday. It's going to be posted on Thursday. I know probably all week there's going to be talk about how the Bengals O-line is trash, how we're 7-point underdogs. I think that's where we opened up, how we can't go into Arrowhead, how Burrow's not ready yet to dethrone Patrick Mahomes, whatever. We're going to get to all that. We're going to talk about the spirit of Cincinnati and a different take on this, on what sports mean to a city and how they're embedded with kind of the attitude and the feelings and the history and the experience of a city. But if you're watching this on Thursday, get pumped because we're going to Arrowhead. We got a chance to go to the Super Bowl. But what I want to do, because this is not an X's and O's channel, I'm not like a football guru, but I do have a good feel for this city. I've lived here 30 years. I listen to a lot of the X's and O's guys, probably like you do, like Paul Dehner Jr. and Jay Morrison and Jake Lisco and Dan Horde. And this weekend I got into Zim Hooday and his podcast and his Twitter cast, which were unbelievable. That guy's amazing. I actually think Dehner Jr. and Zim both have some of the best takes about this city as a whole and what this team means and how it's kind of interwoven into the city, and that's what I want to talk about. So let's go back to what has happened. Let's recap a little bit because I know it's a little bit of a whirlwind, Bengals fans, and I know it's hard to put your brain around this. I talked to my wife the morning after the Titans game, so Sunday morning, and she hasn't followed the season a lot, but she got into that game and her inner cheerleader came out of her and she was like, we didn't dream that. Like, that actually happened. And she's like, I was looking at Twitter and articles last night, and the reaction from the first game with the Raiders seemed to be like relief. Like, people are like, oh my gosh, we did it. But the reaction of this one seems to be a little bit of disbelief. Like, people are like, holy crap, like, we're going to play to get to the Super Bowl. Like, is this really happening right now? And so I want to kind of reset that stage and talk about what's happened right now. So if you haven't gotten a chance to read it, you've got to check out this article that Kevin Huber wrote. We'll try to post a link to it below, and we'll put it on the screen here. But Kevin Huber, Cincinnati's longtime punter, you may have seen him out at bars the last few weeks handing out game balls and celebrating, because this guy is pure Cincinnati. He's like me. Like, literally, he grew up here. He grew up in Anderson Township. He went to McNicholas High School on the east side of Cincinnati. He went to the University of Cincinnati and punted for them. And then he was drafted by Marvin Lewis and played through all of the Marvin Lewis games, playoff losses. He was there. He was on the field. So this guy, you get to read this article and know the story from his perspective, which is amazing. And he goes into it. He goes into the curse. He's like, I don't know. Maybe we were cursed. Like, we didn't know how to handle this. He said after the Indianapolis game, we didn't know what feelings to feel. We felt them all. Like, we didn't know what to do. There was nothing else we can do. Maybe we were cursed. And he even goes back further and talks about Cincinnati growing up, how bad the 90s were. He said he used to go to the games at Riverfront. He calls Riverfront having an industrial feel to it, which is maybe a polite way of saying what that stadium was. But if you're from here, if you're from Cincinnati, you're like, yeah, that was our industrial concrete donut that had no personality and was AstroTurf. That was ours. And we love the blue seats and the green seats and the yellow seats and the red seats. Like, that was ours. But he talks about that, and he talks about how those teams were so bad, they punted a lot. And so he started watching punting, which is just hilarious. The article is hilarious. So he talks about the playoff losses, and then he talks about the fifth one when they lost to the Steelers, and he the shock, the disbelief, the sadness, the confusion. Like, that team was so good. They were legitimately good. Now, and we lost our quarterback going into the playoffs, but we had that game won. There's not a worse feeling in all of Cincinnati sports, I think, than the 2015 loss to the Steelers. 05 sucked with Carson. 2015 was a gutting of our insides, right? Like, we were like, how did that just happen? It was just the worst. And so he talks about that from the player perspective and going through that. And like this, he even says, I think in the article, like, what did we do to deserve this? Like, are we literally cursed? And so then he goes on to talk about the Raiders game. Like, all of that was just gone. Like, all of the relief. He says he looks out into the crowd, and for every fan he saw jumping and dancing and cheering, he saw another fan with their hands on their head, just kind of like staring off into the distance and smiling. Because Cincinnati, you guys know, if you've lived here, if you haven't lived here, I'm trying to give you this backstory. 31 years of not advancing in the playoffs. An entire lifetime. Like, we heard myths and legends from our parents and grandparents talking about the playoffs and the Bengals winning and going to the Super Bowl. We've never experienced it. And that losing has been ingrained in us for 30 years. Like, it's so interesting. And we're going to talk about, I find this fascinating as a sports fan, that I think, and this is why I don't want to worship sports. I don't want to make them my identity. I was telling my friends watching the Titans game, like, I did that with the 2012 Reds. I read every article. I listened to everything there was. I invested so much time. I listened to the games, and I went to I went to game 3 and game 5. We went up 2-0 against the Giants. We came home for 3 games. We lost 3 straight games, the 2012 Reds. I was at that game with a friend of mine, a wiser friend of mine, who said, and I was crushed. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I just spent way too much of my time in life into this. And he was like, you need to take sports out of the this is going to fulfill your life category, and you need to place them in the entertainment category. And since then, I've been able to do that. If you guys have listened to some of my YouTube lives, you've heard me talk about that. And I think that you gotta be careful with that, because sports, when you're looking at it, you're watching biblical principles play out. You're watching worship happen. I mean, you guys may or may not believe that, but you see that happen. And so you got to be careful. So I try to place it in this entertainment category in my life. But I am interested in the fact that these principles get interwoven, and the spirit of the city, I feel like, actually gets interwoven with the team, with the coach, with the players. And this is what I find really interesting about this Bengals team. So go read that Kevin Huber article. It's amazing. Watch then what he talks about with Joe Burrow, because he's like, this guy is different. This team is different. This guy doesn't care about the curse. Jamar Chase doesn't care about the curse. They weren't here. They didn't feel that. They just want to knock your teeth in, is what he says. He says, you look at Joe Burrow's eyes in the locker room, and he wants to beat you by 1,000 points. Like, this guy wants to beat you by 1,000 points. And every Cincinnati fan is like, yes, give us Joe Burrow, inject it into our veins. We are so happy to have this guy, because we had Andy Dalton for years, who was good and competent, and you rooted for him because he was a good, likable guy, but he shrunk in the big games. And Joe Burrow steps up in the big games, which is why right now Cincinnati's like, holy crap, what do we do with this? We've got the guy. Yeah, there's Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, there's Josh Allen. Thank God we didn't have to play both of those guys. We just got one of them. And yeah, there's Lamar Jackson. And yeah, who's the other? I mean, who else? We got the guy. Rodgers is out. Brady is out. We got the guy. And so that's why we're kind of we've moved now from relief to kind of disbelief to we're taking on the personality of Joe Burrow, which is, we want it all. Well, it's not why not us, it's us. We want it all. We're a good team. Don't disrespect us. And that now I want to move into what I think is the true heart of this team. What this is the interview that I watched this weekend that I just keep playing on replay, because I'm like, oh my gosh, that's it. That's the spirit of the city right there. And I'll tell you who it is. It's big number 98, plugging up the gaps, stopping King Henry, Mr. DJ Reader. So if you haven't watched this, just watch this press clip right now of what DJ Reader says.
Why not us?
Yeah.
I feel like we've been getting slept on the whole year, disrespected. And it's something we take pride for in this locker room. We got a lot of guys go out there and fight every day. Y'all see it. We take it as disrespect every time, all year. It's been something. We won't do this, we won't do that, we won't do this. We don't worry about the outside noise. We read it. We're not worried about it. We're confident in us, so we feel like we them. We the people. We going out there every game feeling like we confident. We need to be the ones to get beat.
Jay, when you see Joe Burrow franchise quarterback
Yeah.
to beat
Yeah.
line stacks, as defense, did you guys say, this guy's won us the game so many times, it's our turn to kind of put him on our back?
Yeah, we every week we go out there and we try to get the ball back to 9, man. That's what we believe in as a team. That's what we're trying to get the ball to. So no matter what's going on with him, we're going to go out there and get the ball back to him. That's our jobs. He's the toughest guy in the league, though, man. He's tough. Just gritty. I love it. I love it about him. He's a super tough guy. He doesn't complain. He goes out there and does his job. I really appreciate Joe.
Why was there so much buy-in since the beginning of those games?
Because there's so much doubt. Every year in and year out. There's doubt. There's a lot of guys that came in this locker room and they wanted to change it, and that's what they're doing.
Did y'all feel the doubt throughout the week that y'all would be able to stop there?
You seen the clippings? You see what's on Twitter? Y'all see what's going? Y'all see NFL, what is it? Good Morning Football. We're only one team. Y'all know what's going on. Like, it's not a surprise. I get it.
But does that matter? Did that matter to y'all?
It's personal. Yeah. It matters to you every time. You a man. You like a human, man, woman, anything. You want somebody to doubt you, your ability to do your job? As a journalist, you want somebody to doubt you as your ability to do your job? No, it's disrespectful. You gotta go out there and get it and take it. You gotta earn respect though. So we get it. So we're just gonna keep chopping at the wood like we've been doing.
Do you feel like this is that was Do you feel like you guys have earned it?
I ain't really worried about what everybody else got going on. We respect each other in our locker room. Everybody respect each other, and that's what matters. I know the guy next to me respect me. I respect him.
You were talking about proving things. We've also talked about being the guy that flies under the radar just due to the nature of your position.
Yeah.
Just having a game like this as a run stopper against Henry to show something like this.
It don't matter to me. I know who I am. I'm confident who I am as a player. I know what I do. Y'all seen it. Everybody's seen it. I know what I do as a player, so I don't worry about it. I read it. I go on Twitter all the time. Read it, type in DJ Reader, see what's going on. But I don't worry about it. It's just fuel to my fire. I've been getting doubted my whole life. I spent 7 and 8 years old running around the field in a trash bag trying to make Pee Wee football weight limits. People ain't grinding like me, so that's what I care about.
They brought in you were the first guy they brought in.
Yeah.
It seems like they're built around you, It's kind of, is it kind of fitting though? 4th and 1 on the on the 2-pointer. It's in the trick. You guys kind of made a statement. Defense.
I think the guys who were on this team when I came, we brought in an attitude of we gonna play defense and worry about our job and worry about what we gotta do. We're gonna go out there every day and grind. And it translates. When you're not complaining, when you're not this, you're not that. We don't got an indoor. Nobody out there complaining. It's 4 degrees a couple weeks ago. Nobody said nothing. It's just what we do. Guys are out there playing. Like, guys want to play football. They want to go out there and grind. There's a lot of guys who've been on this team who've been passed on or moved from team to team and whatever are not good apples. Usually, free agents we got. The old team didn't want them. So that's where we come in and take the attitude with.
Do you think the disrespect, though, is going to continue?
Yeah. You've been around the franchise. Y'all been around here. It's going to continue, but we don't care. We're done caring.
You hear that? This guy gets it, right? This is Cincinnati. If you live here, you know this. If you're thinking of moving here because you want to get on the Joe Burrow train, hey, come on. I'll be your real estate agent. Come on. I'm not afraid to plug myself right now. Unashamed plug. I'll be your real estate agent. Jump on the Joe Burrow bandwagon train. Move to Cincinnati. Let's go. A few of you guys were texting me during the game. I love it. You're like, Houday, let's go. Let's go, Bengals. And I love it. And if you want to move here, great. Come on. I'll help you get a house. But not talking about that right now. Enough shameless plug. This video is sponsored by Team Sztanyo, Keller Williams Realty. What I am talking about is DJ Reader. And that guy said, you guys see the clippings? You guys are reading Twitter? You guys saw NFL, Good Morning NFL? Everyone's picking against us. Everyone's disrespecting us. He said, you're a man. And then he catches himself because it's 2022. Way to go, DJ Reader. You're a human. You could be a woman too. That cracked me up. Good job, DJ Reader. Way to catch yourself. But he's like, do you want someone disrespecting you? Do you want somebody telling you can't do your job as a journalist? This guy, right? Guys, this is Cincinnati. What he said right there, that is Cincinnati. Some people get frustrated because we do get disrespected all the time, right? We beat the Chiefs and we're 7-point underdogs. And he's like, I get it. I get it. I get it. And if you live in Cincinnati, you're like, you get it. We're not the coast. We don't get New York press. We don't get LA press. We don't get San Francisco press. We don't get Chicago press. NFL has crowned Patrick Mahomes. They're riding the Patrick Mahomes train. And he's great. Don't get me wrong. He's great. But they didn't build up the Joe Burrow storyline. They're not vested in that. You look at that Tennessee game. I'm not going to get into the refs and all that. But the storyline is there. The NFL is just slow to get on it. But Joe Burrow's going to make them get on it. I'll tell you that. Joe Burrow's going to force them to get on it. Jamar Chase is. But DJ Reader gets it. DJ Reader says, I'm a grinder, man. I put on trash bags as a kid to make weight for Pee Wee football. Are you kidding me? That is Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a grinding city where we get up, we go punch the clock, we put in a good days of work. You may notice it or you may not. You're probably not going to notice it. That's Cincinnati. I talked to someone the other day from, where were they moving from? From San Francisco. And they're like, tell us about the city. They're like, is it cool? Like, is there going to be a lot of appreciation? Are a lot of people going to move there? I'm like, look, no. Like that could happen because we have the fundamentals to do that. I'm like, you look at what we have with the cost of living, with the arts, with our parks, with the culinary scene, with the beer scene, with the bourbon in Kentucky, the professional sports team, with the beauty and the hiking that we have around here, with the centrality in the nation and how you can travel anywhere you want quickly, with the 4 seasons. Go watch our pros and cons video. I've talked about all these things. But most importantly, what we have is a city that's accountable. We have people that work their butts off, and we have people who are humble, and we have people that love each other, and this is a place where you can raise a family. You wanna know why we don't get hype from national press? Because national media doesn't care about family. Boom, hot take. Hot take coming from the family real estate guy. Hot take coming that the national press, no press, is gonna wanna say, yeah, go to the city where you can raise your family. That's not fun. That's not sexy. That's not exciting. Changing diapers? You kidding me? I got 5 kids, y'all. I changed a lot of diapers because I believe that my family and what I'm doing and investing in my kids is the best thing I can do to change the world. That's what I believe. Cincinnati is full of families who believe the best thing they can do is get married, love their wives, have children, train their kids, and make the world a better place through the generations. Hot take, y'all. Mike Brown believes in family. The NFL world does not like Mike Brown. Mike Brown is passing on this business to Katie Blackburn. Katie Blackburn and Troy Blackburn have brought in Elizabeth Blackburn, who's brought back the fans this year. It's a family business. Who is Zach Taylor? Zach Taylor is a family man. He's got 4 kids. He's about my age. I think he might be 1 or 2 years younger than me. He's got 4 kids. He's a dad. He believes in family. You look at how this team interacts. You look at what DJ Reader said. We don't have an indoor facility, y'all. We're going out there, it's 4 degrees, and we're grinding. And no one's complaining because we want to go earn it. This team, like, I am in love with this team right now. I'm not going to lie. Because whether they win or lose, I mean, going into Arrowhead and winning, that's a tough task. We've got to plug. You guys know, you've watched this team. We need a better O-line. We do. We need more depth on the defensive line. We do. I'd take some more corner depth. We've got areas to plug, which they're going to get better in this offseason because people are going to want to come play with Joe. I tell you that right now. We got cap space, hoo-day. So we may or may not win. But I'm telling you, what I'm watching right now with this team, it's Cincinnati in that they are grinders. But what's weird and what Cincinnati hasn't had in a long, long time is it's also grinders with talent. Because the Andy Dalton, Marvin Lewis teams were grinders. Like, you loved Whitworth, you loved Geno Atkins, you loved Carlos Dunlap, AJ Green, Eifert, Sanu when he was here. You love those guys. And they were talented, especially that 15 team. Man, they were talented. Right now, we've got a young core of talent. Burrow, who is the chief competitor. Chase, who is uber talented. And the last time the city has seen this, the last time we earned respect. Well, maybe 2 times, but the biggest one, what's on the thumbnail here, the Reds won in 90. We won the World Series then. But go back to the Big Red Machine. And the reason I put Pete Rose on this thumbnail is because he's another embodiment of the city. I actually grew up not liking Pete Rose because my dad didn't like him. We were from Michigan. The gambling scandal happened. My dad was a very core values, honesty type of guy. So he put it in my mind that like, this guy's a bad dude. Don't like emulate yourself after him. So that was when I was a kid. I moved here in '88 and the whole fiasco. But as I've watched Pete Rose, I still think he's kind of like not the great dude, but he embodies Cincinnati in a way of heart and hustle like nothing else. And that's why Cincinnati loved him so much. And that's why they kind of stuck with him through all of his moral failures, was like, you're us. You're Kevin Huber, but more so, like you're the West Side grinder, put your hard hat on, go to work. I'm gonna out hustle everybody. I'm gonna outwork everybody. And it might not look pretty, but you cannot overlook me. That's Cincinnati. And I think if you get too far, Cincinnati, so I'm talking to you Cincinnatians now, this is where I want to go back to Zim Hude, who I heard this week. Shout out Zim Hude. He's like, they're gonna overlook us. It doesn't matter. Just do your own business. Go earn it. That's what DJ Reader was saying. They're gonna overlook us. It's Cincinnati. Don't worry about it. All right, that's my take, guys. I promise. I told you you weren't going to get that take anywhere else. But I just find it fascinating that this team, this coach, is embodying Cincinnati. Cincinnati fans are taking a little bit of time to catch up to the fact that like how talented this is. But hey, we're jumping on the bandwagon now. They're coming now, and they're coming from all over the country now. And like I said, hey, I'll plug it one more time. You want to move here and be a part of this for the next 10 years? You want to be a part of the Joe Burrow train? Give me a call. Give me a call, guys. Email me directly, eric.sztanyo@kw.com. Guys, like, subscribe to this channel for more content. I promise you, I'll be bringing more real estate content soon, but these Bengals, they got me hyped right now. So, Houday, let's go Bengals. Let's beat the Chiefs and let's go to the Super Bowl. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll talk to you next time.